there anything new? A prophecy or to another end? Down the day on the fall, we're waiting for a final resting end. They don't decay. Heavy eyes, looking from a distance that I can't ignore. Breathe quietly. These noises echo for scores. There's a lot I see that will never be the same. Speak quietly. Their voices, they scream for more. We will never see a light less vivid again. Broken lies bring you to your knees. What are you fighting for? Paralyze, eradicate the ties that hold you to the floor. Heavy eyes, looking from a distance that I can't ignore. Smoke lies within fatal distance. Inhale to your core. Breathe quietly. These noises echo for scores. There's a lot I see that will never be the same. Speak quietly. Their voices, they scream for more. We will never see a light less vivid again. Which action will you call? Breathe quietly. These noises echo for
Let's bring that down. Hi, friends. This keeps going for a little bit, and the solo gets really fucking badass here. But let's just fade that out. Hey, welcome. It's Cyberbuzz. My name is Crimson Clad. You were just listening to Meadows and Makers. That's Greg. And I know I shout him out pretty much every week, but I feel like it needs to be said. One of the best DJs on MSP Waves. Always an interesting show. And of course, had one of our fave longtime listeners and super cool, interesting people, Soul Miner, on. So that was a great show. If you always come to my show and you're interested in a lot of the tech aspects and some of the stuff that I talk about on this one, highly recommend you come a little early and you give that show a little bit of a chance and see if you like it, because I guarantee you probably will. So for everybody that's joining us right now, hello. Welcome to another weekend. I have missed you guys over the last couple of weeks. So in the intervening time, since we last met, I've buried my grandma. That sucked. That was the first week off. And then last week, whatever I had, it was not working for me. I had barely any voice, and we just had a really chill live chat instead. And so for those of you guys who just hung around to just have a little voice chat and not do a stream, super cool. Thanks. We ended up having a lot of fun doing that too. So, let me know how things go today. I have a lot of stuff running because I thought, it's okay. I mean, I was really broken up it's not even a couple months ago. It's still fresh, but I was still quite broken up when I lost her. And it's been hard doing this during COVID times. Many of you guys have gone through the same sort of thing. Don't want to start the note off on a downer, but we did get to sort of celebrate her life and do what we could to honor her wishes. So you know what? Let's roll with it. We're here this week, and there's lots to talk about. Of course, giant announcement. We finally got a date for the hard fork, and that's definitely not because some of us in the background were screaming, just pick one! But, so Hive Hard Fork is coming. I've got lots of fun synthwave music if you guys want to do a little bit of Dancy Pants today. And over the course of the past week, I've been asking you guys questions out and about on social media. And so one of the places that I was answering... Oh, thanks, Solo. Yes, we talked about aliens on FullForce Radio. We could talk about that today, too, if you want, because, I mean, we always needed to talk about aliens. So I have black coffee. I'm very, very prepared-ish for today's show. We're going to try and do some VR stuff. We're going to try and hang out. Hey, Tracy's in the chat. Kitty Girl's joined us. Digging Deeper is hanging around for a little bit. Leonis, hi. If I haven't said hi, even though you're joining us, it's not because I hate you. It's because I'm a terrible DJ. I do have one requirement for every show, and that is to say, hello, Eileen. But let's talk about some of the stuff coming down the pipe quickly, because I know there may or may not be hard fork questions. The big one was really, let's get a date, let's get a countdown going, let's have some certainty. And that was definitely something that people around Hive have been waiting for. So that's good. We have that October 6th. People are starting to update their witnesses. Things are happening. It's very exciting. And you know, it is tricky because you're not really going to see, if everything goes exactly to plan, you're not going to see shit. Nothing will change. Absolutely nothing will happen. Visually, for you as an end user, this hard fork is not exciting in any way, shape, or form. And that's A-okay. But if you do have questions or comments about it or stuff you want to talk about, let me know. That's the whole point of this show, along with some other sassy nonsense. But over the course of this week, I was going to kind of dig into some of the topics on VR and possibly, you know, VR and blockchain, which we've gently touched on before, and also blockchain gaming, because we're seeing some great new interfaces, great new games coming up on Hive. And then also, you know, just some of your thoughts on services that can be blockchain adjacent, like the one you're listening to right now, MSP Waves. It's a social interactive broadcasting network, which sounds so fancy and cool, but all it means is like, dude, we're kind of like Twitch. You can watch, you can interact, payments, tipping, social media, all combined. So we are going to be having a town hall today, and it is for anyone and everyone who has any interest. It's like para-blockchain. Blockchain adjacent is, I mean, if the blockchain could just throw its arms out and spin in a circle, anything the blockchain touches is its kingdom. And so MSP Waves, this station that has been built here, and sort of a lot of this entertainment that you've been consuming, edutainment, as LP Faust likes to call it, that you've been consuming for the last 3 years, that has been building up around the blockchain, we want to start taking it further. We want to start using these shows. We want to start using these shows as onboarding vehicles. And we know it's possible because on this show and on my other shows, we've literally gotten people new Hive accounts and gotten them started that day. It's so fun. It's so exciting. We know it's possible. We have a whole roster of shows. We want to bring on board some more DJs. We want to start building outwards as MSP Waves. And so one of the things that we will be doing, it's edutainment. Yes, that's right. So one of the things that we want to do today, if you're around, and it's a long day of interaction, I totally understand. But if you're around and you want to give some feedback as a listener, as a potential DJ, as someone who just puts up with my shit week to week, then you are welcome to hang around, because we want to hear, what do you guys want from us? What do you want from us as DJs? What do you want to see the station doing? What can we do to make you more excited? What edutainment? Inertia. It's amazing. What's with the Come On Eileen gift? Revised Sociology. Every week, Eileen shows up. You'll see her at the top of the Discord chat. And every time she arrives, I have to say hello to her. And I cannot say hello to her without saying it in, obviously, tune to the song. It's very important, right? So every week, it's a thing. She comes to every show, and so it's just always, hello, Eileen. It's just a thing. Don't worry about it. Just hang out here and you'll catch on. So I want to hear from you guys. We have this meeting later. You don't have to come if you don't want to, but if you have ideas and you want to talk about something here on the show, if you want to come on air, if you want to tell me how to improve myself, this is a thing. This is a thing, and I want to hear about it today. Now, kind of playing into the idea of VR and some of the entertainment that we have going on, we were talking about this on FullForce Radio, but one of the bits of feedback that I got, which I thought was quite hilarious, and I have been exploring in relation to this particular show as well, is things like integration with turn into a fan, literally. Well, here's the thing, Leonis. I was told that one of the ways to make this show more interesting, more interactive, more whatever for everyone was that I should get a filter that looks like a paper bag and people can donate to put the bag on my head. Now, this is a thing that really exists. And a lot of the streamers that are out there are starting to use these augmented AR, VR combination filters that actually alter their appearance. And so one of the, things that I've been thinking about is like, it sounds kind of like a Twitch thing. And you can do this with almost anything. You could create your own filters, all sorts of cool augmented reality stuff. And so I thought, okay, that's definitely a great fit for this show. And so that's something that I'm going to look into. But the paper bag was the one that was ideally suggested, which, you know what? If you think more DJs need need a paper bag on their head, then we'll take that under advisement. We'll consider it. You need more crim emojis. Yeah, Leonis, I'm gonna be doing a Twitch drive for my streams. I'm just not good at it. But groundwork is being laid. Don't you worry. There's groundwork being laid. So I have a nice big cup of black coffee here. One of the things that this kind of leads into is we were talking a little bit about VR over the course of the week. And so this is kind of this fascinating topic that comes up a lot on this show. We often talk about VR. We talk about the idea of VR and the blockchain. We loved the idea of Deluxe, which is it's on hold right now. Let's be real. Let's be real. Disregard Fiat, great developer, working on other stuff because that's where the money's at right now. But there's a lot of stuff that we want to explore as MFT Showroom, as the Hive blockchain, as lots of people want to get into, which would be finding ways to combine being able to pay for assets, tip for assets, being able to own nifties, non-fungible tokens, and having all of this sort of correspond to a VR space. And since we started this show, we actually talked a little bit about crypto voxels, which is a very popular sort of 3D VR world, which a lot of people are using for blockchain art. And if you've been following NFT Showroom, if Nifty Crims, oh God, can you imagine just variants on Crim? Here's a fun thing. Let's not get too gossipy, but for example, our good friend Crypto Finally has dipped her toe into this pool, and my goodness, it has exploded the crypto space. Have you guys seen this? And what do you think about... God, there's so many little Crim heads just floating around. What do you guys think about this? Knowing that Hive has the capability, and NFT Showroom exists, Lenzy exists, and we have this whole baseline for nifties or nifty nips. How do you feel about this? Because this is one thing that for me is a brand new space. Now, being on the NFT Showroom team has been really exciting for me. Art is a very sort of personal, important thing to me. And a lot of the art I create, it never leaves me. It never makes it out onto the blockchain. I think in the 3 years that I've been here, I think I've posted like 2 poems. I post photos, but I never share my art. But I understand the need and desire to. And so NFT Showroom lines up with that. But the fun and weird thing is, I had no concept of how wild and different the crypto art space was. And what is considered art there, what the culture is there. And we've talked about this so often here on this show. And we've even talked about Hive. The Hive blockchain has a culture associated with it. It's something that the community has just developed. It's just happened, right? And we often talk on different versions of the show, different topics of this show. We've talked about, hey, how do we want to shape the culture? How is the culture shaped itself? What are our expectations? And, should we be modifying them? We've talked about this at length. Well, every single environment, every single community, this exists. A toxic culture? I'm toxic. Fair enough. I mean, I'm not right now, but I always have to check. My version of toxic is probably different than yours. So here's the deal. We've talked about this at length with Hive. We've talked about, should we consider Hive only blogging? Should our community culture be so sort of protective of the rewards pool? I know, I can't help it. I'm always concerned about whether or not I smell. And I recognize if I just faked like I didn't smell, you guys would never know, but I'd know and it would bother me. So we've talked a lot at length about this, but one thing that I'm starting to discover is this is every community. This is every culture. This is, Gabriel, you haven't been to the show in ages, so it's really exciting that you're here, and I love seeing all you guys show up, and I'm hoping you're all going to kind of pitch in today. Maybe people can come on. We'll play with it as we go. And also, one big apology to the people watching on YouTube. I did not fix YouTube chat. If you're watching on Twitch and you go into chat, you can immediately... Julia, it's funny you say that because I have like sprouts and fenugreek in my sandwich here that I picked up before the show. So, I mean, I hope I smell like maple. Maybe. So, armpits aside, if you're watching on the Twitch stream, go ahead, fucking chat. Put your text in the chat. It's going to show up here. If you're watching on YouTube, it's not, and that's because I'm a bad DJ. You could still watch on YouTube, but if you want to chat with us, you got to use Discord. If you're using Theta, if you're using Vim, all of those things automatically interact with here. So say hi. There's somebody in Theta. Oh, it's just the MSB bot. But yeah, the whole point of this show is all of you guys that are watching from wherever you're watching, you're part of the show. You're part of the conversation. Just remember that. Except you, YouTube. So here's the deal. One thing that I've seen about crypto art culture is that there is a fairly wild sort of gulf. And I don't know if this is the art culture or if this is the crypto culture or what it is, but especially in crypto art, what is art? What can go on sites? What should people be sharing? What should people be creating? What should people be buying? This is a big question. And our good friend Crypto Finally has lit this shit on fire. Now, crypto art has a whole sort of subsection considered trash art. And it actually quite literally started with like pictures of trash cans being made into NFTs. And from there, it's kind of reclaimed. It's stickers. Hi, I hope you're doing so well. I haven't seen you in so long. Oh, skating on back into our lives. So trash art is literally you find about trash. You find all sorts of pieces out and about, whether it's somebody else's art, whether it's clips or snips of content out on the web, whatever you find, combining it in a way that you feel is art. And so this is a pretty wide umbrella. It's a pretty wide umbrella. And a lot of the stuff, if you go looking for trash art, even on nftshowroom.com, you'll find maybe you'll like it, maybe you won't. But this alone has started the whole crypto space talking about art. What is art? What's acceptable to crypto? And one of the most interesting things is why do we love crypto so much? Why are we so interested in crypto? And all of us here on Hive have pretty similar answers. We like to say things like, well, we want to be able to transact value between ourselves without the government getting in the way. We want to be able to buy things without added taxes. I want to be able to transact with somebody around the world. I want it to be fast. I want it to be feeless. All of the things that make crypto so great, all the things that make crypto so great are being questioned now because people are saying, well, you shouldn't be spending crypto on that. That's not art. I don't think that's art. And you spending your crypto on it cheapens crypto. And this is a fascinating argument. This is fascinating. This is very Hive culture, but it exists elsewhere. And so our good friend Crypto Finally tokenized some selfies. Now, we all know that the crypto space has a lot to say about her selfies. We all know she ran the motherfucking Hive gauntlet and she got spanked. Right? Like, I mean, whether we like it or not, whether we're proud of it or not, girl done took a run at us and got run right out of town. That's a thing that happened. You know what I mean? And so, yeah, Julia's right. It's like, what makes a good post worthy of upvotes? And this is a hard thing. There isn't a right answer. Culture is culture. What people feel, what people think, what they want to accomplish, what they want to say. Excuse me. Sorry. It's the Rona. I got the Rona. What they want to say. This has lit the crypto world on fire, the crypto art world, but also people who are just like, well, hey, I use crypto to buy meaningful things. I'm a hodler. This is what crypto is. And you and your pointy little nipples on Rarible are cheapening it. And so I find this really interesting because when we started the show, people were making jokes about crim nifties. But I think this is a question that's so central to everything we do. So for all of you guys here, all of you people watching, the people here in Discord and everywhere else, for all of you, yes, I'm sorry, YouTube friends. I'm sorry, I'm a douchebag. I'm going to have it fixed 100%. 100% I'm going to have it fixed for next week. I'm going to have some new stuff set up. Also, nobody commented. Maybe you're not watching the video. Nobody commented on my blue lighting. Oh, hey, Corbin! So, nobody commented. I'm going for a slightly more synth-wavy vibe today. I'm going to be changing possibly some filters, and the overlays are going to be changing as well. So come on. But yes, thank you for the bless you. So here's the deal. People are freaking the fuck out. Now, Lax has made a good point here. If they think some boobs are cheapening crypto, wait until the furries get a hold of the NFT market. Yeah, I agree. And we know, and Root Draws here knows, everybody knows, like, we've seen already some pushback against, did you get some, oh yeah, these have always been able to change color. I just normally don't have them do it. normally I just put it at NFTs. Yes, Corbin, this is something for our newbie night. It's called non-fungible tokens. Now, let's just do a really quick recap for those of you who probably know, but maybe don't. An NFT is a non-fungible token. And what it means is that essentially it is a token that cannot be divided down any smaller than itself. And the reality is if you had, say, 2 Hive tokens, they're fungible. One Hive is one Hive. The Hive that I have in my account, the Hive that you have in your account, we can exchange them. They're worth the same value. They are divisible by each other. They are the same thing. But an NFT, a non-fungible token, if you minted a token and I minted a token, they're not guaranteed to be one to one. There is no sort of correlation between their values. And so non-fungible tokens are in part made up of the sum of their history. And this is something that art and crypto art is very difficult to kind of wrap your head around at first. Lax, that's a great example. Here's Lax. A dollar bill is a fungible token. If I give you a dollar bill out of my pocket and you give me a dollar bill out of your pocket and we exchange them, that was it. They work. That's it. They're fungible. But a concert ticket with an assigned seat is a non-fungible token. And that's a great example, Lax. That's awesome. Well done. So if I had a seat in the upper bowl and you had a seat in the lower bowl, these 2 tickets are the same. They're printed on the same paper by the same manufacturer. But if you were to exchange them, they're not of the same value. They're not equal to each other. And a lot of the value that they have is part of perception. Well, one of these tokens, the value comes from the fact that the seat is closer to the stage. Now, maybe that doesn't matter to some people, but to someone who finds that token valuable, the context of it, the history around it, the details about it are what helps lend it value. So when somebody looks at those 2 tokens, they're going to say, hey, I want that one. That one's worth more to me because I would like to be closer to the stage. Now, before we go too far off down that tangent, let's just, I did get a level drink. Should I just put the alcohol in my coffee? No, I'll just take a shot. All right. Hang on. This is, of course, a Crim tradition. Anybody that levels up in my chat gets a shot. And usually by the end of the show, things get really fucking messy. So, the more you chat, that's a benefit as well to you, perhaps, maybe. Now, coming and circling back. I don't know if you guys can see it. I'm going to try and zoom in my camera. I don't think it'll focus in time. I can't see. Can you see my booze bumps? Probably not. It won't focus. Okay, so the reason that we bring this up is here's Crypto finally. She's come along. And she said, hey, I'm going to tokenize my selfies. And half of the platform is going, fuck yeah, look at this. Influencers in, people talking about it, trash artists drawing her, collaborations. Her fans with crypto are buying NFTs. Yeah, great. Woo, awesome. And the other half were like, fuck you. This isn't art. You're cheapening crypto. You're cheapening the idea of an NFT. And this has been a wild, wild little fight that has come up. And it's very interesting because I think sometimes we as people on Hive, we forget that this kind of attitude exists everywhere in the crypto space. And the best thing that we can do is create the culture we want to see and be open to other cultures. And so I kind of want to put this out there because I know a lot of us are feeling in a space where maybe we're getting a little disillusioned. Maybe we are worried that inside Hive is too toxic. But this is coming up a lot, and I've seen it a lot, especially on social media, and I've seen it from a lot of really intelligent Hive people who maybe are just a little lost in the moment right now. And that is that if you use blank, you're not a blank. Now, this is a very sort of standard human response. If you use Twitter, you're just a shitty shill and you're not a real Hiver. Or if you use Discord, you're not helping grow Hive because you should be on Twitter. You're just a fucking clique and you suck. Well, I kind of want to remind you guys that Hive and crypto in general, all of crypto, is too small for us to be doing this. Sometimes you got to step back and recognize the people around you are going to approach the same problems and different problems as you in different ways. And that's okay. You don't have to agree with it. You could call out things that are wrong. You can give suggestions. But at the end of the day, we need all of these angles. We need all of these differences. We need all of these people in a big, wild, arguing melting pot. But we shouldn't be shutting behaviors down that are not actively harmful. And this is a great question. Now, I have an opinion on this, but I'm going to ask the question in a very sort of non-direct way. Is someone like Crypto Finally, is a selfie on an NFT art site, is that actually harmful? Now, some people have argued, well, it is because she's only in it for the money. And people already think that the crypto space is full of scammers. And her selling one of these selfies for 10 ETH is a fucking scam. Now, here's the deal. Is that a scam? We love to say the word scam in the crypto space. And unfortunately, it sticks. You can tell somebody, you can talk to them for 10 minutes about how fucking positive crypto is and mention one scam, and walking away, that person's going to remember the word crypto is a scam. That's what they're going to remember. And so I find it fascinating because is that really harmful? This is one of those things where we, and I'm not saying you guys in here, I'm saying everyone in the crypto space, we need a bit of adversarial thinking. It's not a bad thing to be challenged on the way that you think about something. And in fact, it makes you stronger. But should we be chasing off? Should we be dividing up our community, which, well, large and vibrant, and probably one of the biggest and most active sort of social crypto communities out there? Can we afford to be divided? Can any community that is in a niche afford to be divided? It's a fascinating thing. Now, I'm all for titties. So, and what I am for, and what I'm sure many of you are for, my personal opinion is I am here to be able to own my data, to be able to have a direct control over my connections, and to be able to transact value between me and others without a middleman fucking me over. I don't want my history erased. I want the option. Maybe nobody's going to support all of that on their front end, but I want the option to be able to get at my information and to be able to transact my value from my account outwards. That's it. That's all I want. And so when I see somebody selling something and another person willingly consenting to send them crypto, my personal opinion, bias alert, is shut the fuck up. That's their crypto. If you are here and decentralization or individual liberties or self-sovereignty are your goals, then whether you like what they're doing with it, they are exercising that right. Stop and think about it. Should you have the ability to tell someone how to spend their crypto, especially knowing that not your keys, not your crypto? Should you be able to tell someone what they can do with it? Now, obviously, we do have to, it's such a bad argument, Ron says. Fair enough. Okay. Well, I don't think it is. But that's on me. So in this space, there are certain things, there are certain scams, there are certain misdirections that matter. You do need to speak up against them. But with things like Crypto Finally tokenizing an NFT, and for, reasons like that, absolutely not. Should you be able to? No. And if you don't think that you should be able to, move into a blockchain or a token that aligns more with your personal values. So Ron says my argument is absolute trash. I guess so. I mean, I'm not 100% sure why, but I'm also not super worried about it. So that's my take on it personally, and that's only one of them. I'm just interested to see how this same argument that we think here, that we think, I'm guessing, Inertia, that my argument is whether or not we like what people do with their crypto, we shouldn't be able to tell them. So she's saying you can't voice. That's absolutely not true, Ron. That's absolutely not true. I can't voice an opinion about how others spend their crypto. I legitimately, 2 seconds before that, said you absolutely can and should speak up about scams and things like that. And you can tell someone how you feel about it. But when I'm kind of looking at this, here are people saying, I demand you change the blockchain. I demand you change the website. I demand you change the abilities to mint a token. So, I mean, that's really not what I'm saying, Ron. And arguably, this is exactly the same as the time as I said you didn't want people to, women to vote because they're too emotional. So it's the same difference. I don't care if you have an opinion about how I spend my crypto. You can have that opinion, but you can't actually tell them, demand them, control them. And that's the crux of it. Yeah. So here you go. There are people who want her tokens. Stop being emotional. My bad. I'll rein it in. But there are people who want her tokens removed from the front end. They don't want her to be able to tokenize. They don't want people to be able to send her crypto for these tokens. And that's where I say, holy shit. We have to kind of take a look at this and say, do we believe in these crypto values or not? And this is exactly the same as on Hive. And it's something we're going to struggle with for a long time. And the only way to sort of free ourselves from this struggle is to have more options. You know what? If you're super worried about blogging right now, because blogging is the only thing that Hive offers that's really important to you, it's not going to solve your problems for us to continue fucking with blogging forever. What might actually be more valuable is to find more things that this blockchain does that matter to you and allow you to have more options. That's important. So on that note, I'm going to play a quick track. Hey, Marky. Oh, we can buy followers. This NY Buddha bot is telling me that I can buy followers, guys. Check it out. Hooray! This is also something we could talk about, decentralized ledgers. I'm going to play a quick track. We're going to cleanse our palate. We're going to come back. We're going to move along these lines because we actually do want to talk a little bit about blockchain gaming. There is a new game and interface out today. I want to talk a little bit about the Hive today because I've talked about it on this show before about the newsletter, but I want to put it in your guys's I want to put it in your guys' eyeballs just quickly. And then I want to talk a little bit more about VR. And I actually thought today we might do a little walkthrough because I asked the question on Twitter. I said, what was one thing, if you could do anything in VR, what would you want it to be? What would you want to do? And we got some cool answers. And I thought we'd talk about that a little bit at the course of today as well. And kind of come back around to that in relation to Hive and other blockchain stuff. So we got a full day. We're already half an hour into the show, which is very exciting. And I thought I would look and see if I could play you guys some music, a brief interlude. And I think I'm going to play something nice and quick. Let's do a quick track. It's a Daniel Deluxe remix of a track by Laserpunk. And it was written during the pandemic. It's literally called Pandemic. It's a little bit crunchy. It's a little bit dark synth. It's got kind of a cyberpunk aesthetic to it. I'm going to play this quickly, and we'll come back and we'll talk a little bit more about whatever you guys want to. Remember, you can jump in. You're part of the conversation. And if you have questions or comments about the hard fork or about Hive in general, huck them in here. I would love to answer them for you. We can also get ready to do... yes, a 3D hentai cam girl is taking over Chatterbait. So this is wild. Imagine that. Just instead of a paper bag on my head, perhaps it would be some, I don't know. I don't know. we'll look at some of the possibilities. But let me quickly do this. Let me play this pandemic track. It's a nice quick one. We'll be right back. My name is Crimson Clad. Every Saturday, I'm here talking about blockchain, about disruptive tech, shooting the shit, playing some synthwave, having a little bit of fun with you on MSP Waves. you go. A little bit of laser punk, Daniel Deluxe, a track written in pandemic, called Pandemic, all about the pandemic. And that's actually something we should probably talk a little bit about today. I am planning on potentially flying out. So maybe this will turn into Clown World, but we could talk a little bit about what does digital entertainment look like in a COVID world? I know we're trying to avoid this COVID shit, but this is the new normal. And whether you consent or not, it's going to have an impact on the way that we interact in this totally bizarre, strange approximation of doing our best. Hey, Uncle Bonehead, I see you've joined us. And if I haven't said hi to you for sneaking in and saying hello, then it's because I'm a douchebag. Just, roll with it. DJ Douchebag, that's me. So welcome back. We started off talking at the beginning of the show a little bit about, reminding you guys that if you have any feedback for MSP Waves, please give it to us, because we are having a town hall meeting here in PAL today, right after this show, to talk about what can we do to grow the station, to grow the listenership, and to help kind of take some of these programs out into the wider world, bring more people on board. both the blockchain and the station itself. So there's that. But we also talked a little bit about crypto culture and how we have discovered that a lot of what we think of as problems in Hive are problems with humans. What else is new? The blockchain is a microcosm, friends. And we talked a little bit about essentially what is art, what is crypto, what is valuable, what should you be allowed to do with your crypto, what should services be able to do to offer you kissing and driving. Okay, well, as long as it's safe, that's all I ask about. So that's sort of where we started off. And we were just leaving that last little bit with, somebody is tokenizing selfies, and the crypto world and the art world combined are both having an absolute motherfucking meltdown, just at the top of their lungs. So we ended that segment talking a little bit about, well, one of the biggest ways we can combat that is to offer more don't kiss and drive, it's dangerous. Yeah, that's what I was thinking about. Especially depending on what and where you're kissing. But one of the things that I kind of wanted to transition this into was Eileen's gonna tokenize her feet. That's right. All them freaky people are just gonna lose their fucking minds. Yeah, why not? Boom, do it. Do the thing. It's fine. You should be able to do that. Maybe you'll get meme trash art of your feet, and then people will just, it'll be a whole thing, and more eyes on crypto, right? So here's sort of the direction I'd like to take this in. And one of those is we need more things to do, more options around the blockchain. And we know that gaming is very popular. And a lot of the things that come with gaming, especially, oh, sorry, Rosa. And the creepy fur sticking. You want to do some meme art of Murphy? Sure. I will happily give you many, many Murphy photos to sort of, build up your stable, your collection. So one of the things that we've seen is gaming is something that the blockchain is great for. You can do it from anywhere. You can transact with anybody in the world with in-game currencies, and of course they have the crossover into the real world. Now, many people used to play, what was it, Second Life? I'm pretty sure Second Life money could be actually sold for value in fiat. And, this is kind of just moving into a new version of that. But one thing that we've discovered is, hey, what about card games where your cards can never get ripped or, the quality of them never goes down? What if you can't possibly drop them on the street and lose them? Yeah, WoW is another example for sure. Or Evercrack, which held a bit of my soul for a while. So this is something we see a lot of, and we know that Hive is uniquely suited. It's fast, it's feeless, you can build all sorts of games on top of it. And in the crypto space right now, ETH, which originally had the crown for blockchain gaming, can't touch us. Splinterlands, D-City, Holy Bread, Rising Star, Crypto Brewmaster. There are a jillion, a fulfillion. Make up an illion number. There are so many people interested in this, and there are so many options. And one of the things that I haven't checked it out yet, but it's new as of I think yesterday or something, is Rabona. And there is a new sports soccer management game. And so here we're starting to see somebody who's really, really intelligent starting to create games, apps, and opportunities that'll reach a wider audience. So we talk about this a lot. Soccer and watching soccer, playing soccer, they're all just card games though. Yeah, I agree. Rabona is basically Football Manager, 100%. So some of them are card games, some of them aren't, revised sociology, but card games are one of the sort of standard games that we think of and that are easy to kind of for people to pick up, to understand. Collecting is a thing that we as, hey Mariano, I didn't see you sneak in, that we as people are drawn to. Collecting, organizing, sorting. It's a thing we love to do. We're all just OCD out the wazoo. But so here's Rabona, and here's a plan for somebody to say, hey, what is the most popular accessible sport in the world? What is something that would be interesting to, a huge subsection of the population? Sports pools, sports betting, fantasy leagues, these are things that are huge. They're huge. Whether in North America, whether in, even like think about soccer in Africa. Think about soccer across Europe. Think about the accessibility of football. And so we're finally starting to see those other options. And, we're talking about, hey, what should you be able to do with your crypto? What do we need to get sort of more people interested? Not everybody wants to write. Not everybody wants to vote. Not everybody wants to play a card game. Not everybody. And so we keep saying, how do we change the things we have to better fit more people? And the argument is, no, don't change them to fit more people. Make them the best they can be and encourage more things to be built. And we've been saying this together for so long. Yes, Exode is beautiful. You're right, reverse sociology. I didn't mean to not include them. And yes, some sports gambling. I will say that there is a sort of NFT predictions gambling market coming that we are, I don't know how much we're saying about it, but it's coming. Yeah, coming soon, TM. So more options for people to find things they love. And we know how important that is. And so I kind of wanted to throw that out there just because if you hadn't heard about it yet, this to me is the stuff that we should really be encouraging. Giving feedback to the people that already exist, help them make their product awesome, but more options. Be greedy, ask for things, share ideas, look at what people want to do realistically. What are they spending their time doing and why can't they do it, with blockchain helping it out? Now, we've had this topic on the show before, and you guys have often had a lot to say. Not everything needs, hey, Mindtrap, good to see you. Not everything needs the blockchain. Not every problem needs to be solved by blockchain. But there is something so fascinating about interconnectedness, and it's very similar to the Internet of Things. And so you have a Hive wallet. You have a human readable wallet address and you log in and you love this football manager and you fucking love it. And you realize that over time you've built up some Hive and that is money. And rather than take it into fiat, maybe you discover that there is a finance app or there is a blogging app, or you know what, you can actually send that to your buddy who is off in Europe and you know what, he needs a bit of money and he's also started up a new t-shirt store. So you send him some Hive and he sends you a t-shirt. There is so many possibilities for interconnectedness in our community. And so when I see, yes, sports gambling with an option to lay bets, you're damn right, revised sociology, that is definitely a thing that is coming. So here are all these things that we say like, oh, Hive is so great already, but it's barely scratching the surface on the things that it can do, the things that it can offer. And rather than we focus on, hey, we have to sell this, we have to sell this, we have to sell this, what we already have, we should be making sure that we keep encouraging new things too. But one thing that I kind of wanted to throw out there is just a reminder, and actually Hive Trending's not here today. He usually shows up to the show. But I do want to put that out there that there is a new Hive today. And if you guys are looking for aggregate news, there are a bunch of communities that you can go to. There are a bunch of places you can check. But if you are looking for something you can quickly read on the blockchain with a bit of aggregate info, that this is really helpful. This is really great. And they've been working intensely on it. But I would highly recommend, if you haven't followed the Hive Today account, that you do. And you know, he's normally here to kind of talk it up, but he's not, so he missed his chance. Now, with that being said, there's two directions we can go in right now. We can do an open floor for hard fork talk stuff. We can do that. Or, yeah, I know, oops, the one time that he doesn't show up for the show, then I'm going to slag him terribly. No, God, people are busy. You never have to come to my show. But if you do, I'll like you more. So, you know, like, that's worth some sort of magical internet points, right? Maybe? So we can go down one road, which is we can have sort of an open hard fork talk time. If there's anything that's unclear, you want to ask questions, you have comments, you want to get on air and yell, that's one direction we can go in. The other direction was continuing down this road of the Internet of Things, the interconnectedness of things. How many NFTs for one Crim like? I don't know, because I haven't tokenized anything yet. I've been so busy working on what the website will look like and some of the stuff in the background, and of course trying to get this fucking hard fork going, that I have not tokenized any art. And I am trying to get brave enough to share my art with you guys. As of right now, it isn't happening. But perhaps someday. Realistically, it makes me laugh because I probably could have earned so much Hive by now. But instead, I want to make ways for you guys to earn Hive. Hey, Clay, good to see you, man. So I think if you guys don't have more questions about the hard fork just yet, and it's okay if you do, you could throw them in over the course of the show at all. I thought we'd talk a little bit about the interconnectedness. And so this is something that we are trained to just know about. Log into my Hive account, use my keychain. I can log into a game. I can log into my blog. I can log into my wallet. I can log into... We already understand the power and the idea of shared information in a digital ledger. We get that as Hivians, Hivers, Hive enthusiasts, as bees, whatever the case may be. We understand the power of that. We take it almost for granted. Clay's rocking up. Very nice, man. We take that for granted because we know we're going to continually get more services that we can take advantage of. We know, hi, Wizard, I don't think you're listening, but maybe, probably not. He probably got summoned by Corbin's GIF. Corbin's GIF is a GIF of Gandalf, and I bet you in the actual raw link, it has the word Gandalf, which means Gandalf was pinged over on openhive.chat. That's why he's here. But you guys can all say hi to him now that he's listening. So one of the reasons that I bring this up is just the other day, I saw an ad for, do you guys know Ring? And what are your thoughts on Ring? It is a always connected wireless camera that's associated with basically doorbell features. You can attach a little doorbell camera. Somebody rings your doorbell, takes you can look at them through your phone or whatever. So just the other day, I actually saw... Yeah, Tracy, we've talked about this on the show. We can go down the GIF. We can go down the GIF road, because one of the things that we definitely need to do is kind of expand it so that you don't have to add Hive to your query. But we'll go down there. So yes, Amazon needs to know who at your door. It's hugely perfectly normal. So yeah, Marky, you're going down the road that I was going to consider. Here's the thing. Ring has doorbell cameras. It has other cameras. But what I saw the other day, and let me see if I can find the link for you guys, was a promo video for a Ring personal home security drone. And it was that you could put sensors on your doors and windows. When they opened, this little drone would be like around the house and would be able to fly around your house and show you what was happening. And so one of the things that this kind of always brings into it for me, here it is. Here's a link anyways. Let's just drop that in. So check this out. The Ring Always Home Cam. Now, one thing, that's exactly where I was going with this, Marky. Here is a thing where you can see both the benefits and the sort of terrifying aspects to interconnected data collection and why it should be accessible to you and decentralized versus maybe not. One of the things that I like to kind of remind people is I love the idea of being able to turn to my fridge and being like, hey, any eggs in there? And my fridge is like, nah, cool, I'll order them for you. And I'll be like, fuck yeah. And then it charges my card and the eggs get, I'm kind of going there, Marky. But then the eggs show up in my fridge. That's amazing. I love that idea. That is a useful future tech idea that, kind of plays into the idea of, well, my debit card is linked to my grocery list, is linked to my electric, all of these things. But one of the things that kind of scares me a little bit, and I think that we often forget, is in the case of, let's just say, Amazon. Bezos has been very clear and very open that he just wants a small, tiny, itsy, weetsy, teensy bit of every transaction in the world. He asks for nothing except for every transaction. That's a thing that he wants. And it's intelligent business. It's so clever. And we have invited so many of his devices into our home, whether it's Alexa connected speakers, Alexa tablets, Alexa phones, your Ring cameras, your whatever the case may be. And for you, it's very useful and that's very excellent. But one of the things that we forget too is each of these devices can also talk to each other. And we have, maybe unwittingly, created a mesh network of Amazon devices. They are so thoroughly saturated in our lives. Many people have a little Nest. Yeah. Jesus, Marky. Can you imagine that? Alexa, I can see you're not performing well. Would you like me to order you some Viagra? But you have a Nest. You have an Echo that's got a, sitting on your dresser in your bedroom that has a clock and it shows your pictures and it tells you to wake up in the morning and it reminds you that you have an appointment. And then you go into the kitchen and there's a panel on your Samsung fridge that has your day's events laid out from Alexa in it. And you have a speaker and a phone and will you do voice acting? Yeah, of course. I'll always do voice acting for you guys. You want me to read you ridiculous things? 100%. Absolutely, I will. Guaranteed. So here's the deal. Let us, oh gosh, look at this. Everybody's coming in now. This is great. Yeah, so you don't have to, but my point is that they're already out there. This is a saturation point. And in some ways, this Internet of Things is so useful. It's so cool. It's so helpful. But in other ways, we've literally created an alternate internet. We have created a network of devices that essentially will be able to work on their own. They will be able to share information on their own. They will literally take the form of their own intranet. Spotify gives away them. Yep, absolutely. Absolutely. So, here's sort of this comparison network. Think about Hive, where you can use your one login and the information that you place into the blockchain is shared across an entire ecosystem, right? Then think about something like Amazon. You bring these devices in, you log into them, and the information that you give them is shared across a network of Amazon devices to make your life easier. So, interestingly enough, there is a lot of crossover between the two, but there is sort of a main difference. And, probably the biggest one would be that you do have full control over what you put into the blockchain. And that is so important. That is definitely something that we forget a lot. We don't have control. We think we do, but how much control do we have over Amazon or Google or a smart device? Yeah, so there you go. Ron's saying, I can't wait till my smart fridge sees I need groceries and spends my crypto to have them delivered before I even realize the milk is spoiled. Yeah. And I mean, in some ways, that's brilliant. It's absolutely fucking brilliant. But how much control do you have? And that is, of course, always the question. And it's one of the reasons that so many people have come to crypto, have come to Hive, have explored blockchain in general. Oh, look, Crim's chargers have activated. Jesus. So I find this really interesting, and I'm curious to know what you guys think of this. Are you concerned that these centralized networks could be abused too strongly? Or are you more excited about the potentials that come with developing a network and hoping to decentralize the same information on a consensual basis? Because that's what you're doing with Hive. Whether you like it or not, every day that you blog about the things that you're doing in your life, it's there, it's mineable, it's transparent, it's visible. You are still giving potentially as much information on the Hive blockchain as you are to Amazon. Now, obviously, Amazon is looking at a much wider set of information. But somebody could potentially, and we did talk about this way back in the day. You guys may remember last year or maybe even longer on this show, we talked about the potential of the Steve app, which would look at what you liked, what you voted, what you didn't like, what you downvoted, what you re-steamed, and it would actually use AI to learn about your preferences and to then present you with better content. And so that's free, that's fair. And if they created a front end which could give you content that kept you there, kept you watching, and then served you ads, would they be much different? And the answer is no. And Clay has put something in chat which I think is so valuable, and I want to hear you guys' opinions. But the big thing is killing the middleman. You have control over what you put into the chain. You may not think about it all the time, and that's going to be a hard shift to think about. Hey, if I vote on this, somebody can see that I voted on this and may infer that I like whatever I voted on. There's that. But there's also, but in that transaction of value, in playing that game, in buying that card, in picking up that crypto finally NFT that everyone can see, there is nobody else between me and that other point profiting on this. Potentially. It's a fascinating idea. KTBJJG. I feel like you're not a real person. Okay? You followed Hitler. Yeah, can you imagine inertia? It's like, what if you created the most anathema, just the most anathema possible account? You bought all the crypto finally nipple selfies. You followed Hitler. You wrote a large sort of like diatribe on why we should, I don't know, fucking kill all puppies. Thanks for the follow, man. Katie, are you real? Type something so I know that you're real. Type something and I'll read it on air. So here's the deal. It's a fascinating problem, and it's one that's not going away. We like algorithms. We like convenience. We like the Internet of Things. We love the idea of a decentralized ecosystem. We love the ability for our data to carry across different apps in the Hive ecosystem. Is it truly different? Do you have a good guiding thought that will help you move forward in this space? I don't know. It's a fascinating idea, and it's one that I wanted to kind of throw out there and ask you guys. Hey, Niall, good to see you, man. So this new girl, hello. Speaking of talented artists in the house. So that's kind of where I'm at today. These are some of the topics that I wanted to throw out there because I don't know if you watched that ring cam thing. Like, legitimately, here's this dorky burglar who opens the screen door, and, you know, this little drone comes like and like scares him away. It's weird, it's freaky, it's interesting, it's terrifying. I don't know. So I wanted to get your guys' opinion on it. Haven't seen you guys in a while. Glad you're hanging out. So I'm gonna play one more quick track. We have been talking at length about the connected sort of Internet of Things in the first hour of the show. And prior to that, we were talking a little bit about how some of the attitudes around Hive are actually attitudes around the crypto space. And that a lot of the struggles that we think are unique to us really aren't. And how do we engage in adversarial thinking in a useful way? And how do we recognize when some fights are harmful to a community as small as ours and a community as small as crypto in general? When you think of the amount of money that exists, sort of the wealth value in crypto that exists compared to all of the fiat in the world, crypto is a drop in the bucket. And we, inside of crypto as Hive, are a tinier drop. A little bit of mist, if you will. And so it's kind of fascinating when we see these beefs, these strong opinions develop. And it's really important for us to kind of think about these things, knowing that we want to get bigger, we want to move forward, we want to do more, we want to have more, and we want control, we want value, we want to earn, we want to engage. All of the things that we want aren't bad. So how do we reconcile that? I don't fucking know. All right, so I'm going to play another track. We're going to clear the slate. We'll come back to sort of the VR track, because I want to talk a little bit more about VR. And we've been talking about, in this last little bit, about big companies, about commercial capitalism, about centralization. And that is something, hey Qua, good to see you. That is something that we are seeing is teetering on a cusp right now. So when we come back, I want to dive into VR a little bit, and I want to ask your guys' opinions on it, because there is the potential that VR will get bigger and more accessible right now. Right now, it's happening. But what do we think about that? I'll explain when we come back. I'm going to find you guys a track here quickly. Nifty VR, right, Inertia? And I'm actually more set up. So I know last time, Crypto Voxels, I couldn't walk through Crypto Voxels with you guys in real time. You couldn't watch it on the screen. Crypto Voxels still does not play nicely with the Quest or with the Rift. Now you'll see, this is actually a Quest. This is a Quest headset. So it's actually fully wireless. I have it wired right now. That wire is connected to my PC. And so what that does is that allows this Quest, the wireless version, to function as a Rift, which is a wired version. And I have that for a reason, because at some point in the next little bit, I'm going to walk you guys through my digital home. I'm going to pop this on my head. You guys will see my camera down in the corner, and I'll actually walk you through like my little digital home space. Because one of the things that we talked about this week on Facebook was, what are some experiences that you would love to have in VR? And so we'll talk a little bit about that. Let's play a quick track. Let's kind of get a quick palate cleanser here. Of course, we love synthwave. I love synthwave. You get stuck listening to it. I'm gonna play a track called Automatic Love. It's a group called Fury Weekend with Essenger. It's another band that I've played for you before. Most of you guys don't care. You're just here to dance. You're here to hang out. My name is Crimson Clad. This is Cyberbuzz. Every Saturday, hopefully, I entertain you? Question mark? MSP Waves.
We met
Hi to everybody who's just joining us. I see Osbit Banks snuck in. Hello, hello. My name is Crimson Clad. This is Cyberbuzz Radio. Every weekend I am here. We talk about the Hive blockchain. We talk about disruptive technology. Today we have been talking about crypto attitudes. We've been talking about nifties. We have been talking about how the Internet of Things is something that the blockchain could turn into, but also is fascinating, useful, and terrifying. So it's been a good one. Thanks for hanging out with me. We're already halfway through the show. We played some fun synthwave. Lots of people are here hanging out. We have a Murph competition going in chat. I have actually dropped a new picture of Murph, and people are making Murphy NFTs, Murphy trash art. Lax did a great one of him sitting on a glacier. Clay actually had a bunch of beautiful deep dreams of Murphy made. At the end of this show, somebody who has never made a Murph piece of art, Murph trash art, Murph art. I'm going to pick somebody from today's show who hasn't already created it. Because Clay's got a couple in his back pocket. Any of you who haven't ever tried before, please make some art. I will like to give two people some Hive. I would love to give you some money. I would love for you to, potentially make your first token. But if you don't want to make a token, just make some art. And I'm going to pick a couple and I'm going to give you some money because it's fun. And because I can, because the blockchain lets me. So, moving into talking a little bit about VR. I said we'd talk about this today, and just before the break, I was showing, it's okay, Corbin, you don't have to art. Just try. Open up Paint, paste a picture of Murphy, draw on it. See what happens. You never know. I make the face on camera. If you're not watching on camera, I do recommend finding either on the website at mspwaves.com. You can watch it my Twitch, you can watch it the YouTube, wherever. But watch on the video, because one of the things we're going to talk about today is VR, and I've been showing you guys my headset. So if you're wondering what I was talking about, I did an art once. It was terrible. One of the things that I want to show you guys is I have my Quest headset here, and so Quest is the Oculus headset that this is the old version. A new one is coming out, and this is what kind of has me talking about this, because right now these headsets, depending on where you live in the world, may or may not be accessible in price. For me, because I'm Canadian, the price is a little bit higher. This Quest was like, I think it cost like $5.99 when it first came out. I bought it as soon as it was available, and I think it was about $5.99, which is still pretty expensive depending on what your entertainment, what your financial situation is like. And so for VR, I'm curious to know, for the people here who are listening, have you ever been interested in VR for gaming, for experiences? Has it ever been something that you've thought about? And if not, why not? I'm so curious. I'm so curious. Yeah, Osbit Bank, that's part of where I'm going with this. But yeah, so if you're here, if you've ever thought about getting a headset or, starting to explore VR, what's stopping you? And do you think sort of that price was too high? Now, the reason, it is so immature. You think so? Oh, you mean the technology, not the actual, yeah, that's fair. Okay, so that's right. I don't want to play games that look like 1974. Agreed. So here's the deal. One thing that I will say is, in the time that I've been playing this, and the more that I have been exploring VR, the more that I realize, while you're in it, inertia perfect. While you're in it, because of the immersiveness, you do forgive some of these things. But I do agree. The games, the fact that we don't have AAA games are not that useful. But the tech demos are amazing. Lax, I agree. And it's just, we haven't taken advantage of it yet. But let me explain why this has come up. I asked this on Twitter, and I said, if there was one thing that you could do in VR, if there's one thing that you could do in virtual reality, what would it be? Anything in the world, whether it exists yet or not. What would it be? What would you do? And I asked this, and there were some great answer. The Walking Dead game. Yeah, I play Arizona Sunshine, and it looks like trash, but when you're in it, it's terrifying. I'm a giant baby. Jump scares everywhere. I hate it. I play Arizona Sunshine, and I like it. But if there's one thing you could do in VR, what would it be? Marky says Scarlett Johansson. So on the Twitter, I believe it was, I think, did Tracy say flying? Somebody said flying and somebody said a rave. So there are two things that came up right off the bat. One was flying. You would explore, okay, so Inertia wants to go straight up into the Enterprise. And actually that's something you can do. There are a lot of sort of like explorable worlds for sure. Making Stuff wants to fly around and use a Kamehameha. Ron says, wake me up when we have a holodeck. Now, I did briefly think about this studio with its black walls getting like green reflective tape. Oh my gosh, his dudeness, that's adorable. I did think about getting green reflective tape and painting this entire room as a holodeck. Besides the cost of my slow internet, I'm not dabbling in VR because the last thing I need is something else to demand my time. Agreed. Kitty girl, I don't get to play or explore or use the tech as much as I'd like. But I do think that with this sort of new developments on this, we're going to see a lot more VR sort of incorporated in our day-to-day life. Now, the reason that I bring this up, and Osmond Banks already touched on it, and it's become something that I've talked about, is Facebook bought this company a while back, Oculus. And Oculus was a leader in basically headset technology and, sort of driving this space forward. Well, Facebook bought this company. Now, that was damn uncomfortable because up to this point, Facebook bought it, but you didn't have to connect anything to it. You could use an Oculus device without really having to do anything with Facebook. But there is a new version coming out. True 4K, much better textures, much better everything. And the price is going to come down. $299 US. So that's a pretty big change. That's getting cheaper, and it's going to get cheaper, yes. So one of the things that's very interesting and frustrating, but also necessary, that I want to ask you guys about. Now, obviously, VR concerts and sports events might be a big deal. Agreed, Making Stuff. And it is interesting to know that now, during the pandemic, VR should be everywhere. Everyone should be using VR. It's perfect for this. And yet we're not. So what's missing? Because we're seeing that same sort of not enough onboarding, not enough saturation. What's missing? It's the same question with crypto. Is it just too new? Is it still too expensive? Is it too scary? Is it too different? Is it not good enough? So whether we like it or not, Facebook has bought Oculus. They're going to be creating a new, smaller headset. So from the side, it'll be about half the width, much lighter, completely wireless. Old VR sets, you needed to have a ton of wires. You'd have to have sensors attached to your ceiling. These literally are all standalone. The new one is going to be $299. The price is coming down. It already connects to your Facebook. It already connects. It uses that information, whether you like it or not. We know we're talking about the Internet of Things. It knows your friends. It knows the games you like. And you can look at your pictures. You can open up your Facebook events. You can go to an online event or a live stream. And so all of these things that we say, oh yes, of course, Marky, we should all be having mellow greetings. Mellow greetings, fellow hivers. So there are some upsides. And I mean, I say this as somebody who doesn't use Facebook. There are some upsides. Facebook has so much money that they will be able to sell cheaper, better headsets. They will be able to basically show a lot more people this technology. So for saturating this, for getting more people onboarded, Facebook is a good thing. Whether we like it or not, it's the truth. What if you could just log into a headset with your Facebook account? Most of the world has a Facebook account. Most of the world trusts Facebook. And so whether we like it or not, this disruptive technology getting out there into people's hands through Facebook is something that's going to have to happen. It's kind of wild. And so, yeah, Tracy brought up, I want to fly. Well, one of the things Yeah, and Osbit Bank, that's a great point. I'll read that in a second. So one of the things is Tracy said, "Oh, I wanna fly." Well, there actually is a really awesome one of these sort of tech demos for VR emerging was called Eagle Flight, and it was quite literally you become a bird and you fly around insane locations. One of the games that I play often because it's very quick and sort of very engaging. Clay says, "I want an Oompa Loompa and I want it now." I wonder if there's a VR game for that. One of the games that I actually do engage in from time to time again is a climbing game. And I can basically, oh, Mariano, that's beautiful. I can go out, I can pick a location, and it's basically free climbing. There is no other people. There is absolutely nothing but some carabiners, which are save points, and I will go free climb a wall. I will sit. I will look at the world around me. It's delightful. Like, that's it. That's the whole game. It is exceptionally immersive. You hear nature. You hear the wind. You get to climb up into the air, and you get to look at the environment around you. And that sort of thing, especially right now in the pandemic, is very valuable. It's very valuable. And so one of the other answers that I got on Twitter when I said, if there was anything that you could do in VR, what would it be? And one of the answers was, well, imagine a party. Imagine, that's kind of arty. Aww, I like it. Imagine if we could do that dance party rave scene from Ready Player One. And I thought, yeah, that'd be very cool. Imagine that. And then I thought, well, how many of you guys have either read or seen Ready Player One? Because I feel like we're kind of on the cusp of that. And I wonder if that movie will actually help VR or hurt VR. And yes, it was a book too, but most people probably saw the movie. And that was about a company that controls this oasis, this virtual environment. Everybody goes into this virtual environment. It's where you spend your time. The real world sucks. Not saying anything. The real world sucks. You go into this virtual environment. You can be whoever you want to be. You can look however you want to look. You can do whatever you want to do. You can earn money inside this environment. It is almost like a second life that is escapist from your real life, but it's owned by a giant capitalist company, centralized. Well, Facebook is going to be owning the biggest headset producer, the most far along, sort of saturated access point to virtual reality. They're going to have a sort of portal for developers to access this hardware. They are going to control all of the ins, the outs, the accounts that you need to log in and access and use this hardware. Do you think that this is something that can happen? Do you think that Facebook ads or Facebook control or Facebook as, sort of a giant business, do you think this will help VR or do you think this will harm VR? Is this a positive thing for you or is this a negative thing for you? Because all of the possibilities that we want to see in the VR space, especially, new games and exciting things, right now kind of are in Facebook's fist. And as much as we want to say Facebook is terrible, it's the worst, we hate it, they have the money to drive this forward. And this is something that we often argue about on Hive too. So with that being said, where are we at for the time? We got about half an hour left in the show. So I thought one of the things that I would do quickly is we could talk a little bit about, Facebook is terrible. I agree, because right now, cool. Right now, bring down the vesting time if you ever want Hive to gain. Oh, good. You're clearly listening. And by listening, you're just dumping random shit in chat because you're for sticking. I love it. But if you want to join, if we want to talk about that, we can do that a little bit later on. But so one of the things that I kind of want to, so Mariano says, I don't trust Facebook, so I think they're hurting adoption. Yeah, I am curious because in our ecosystem, that's the truth. Beyond our ecosystem, beyond the crypto ecosystem, Is it the truth? I don't know. It's just a question. But so one of the things that I wanted to show you guys is I was going to put the headset on and we could walk around together in my little virtual environment. It's a place that I sometimes go to stand. Let me just see if I can wake the Oculus up. One sec. Yep. I sometimes go and sit, and at the start of the pandemic, I would go and kind of like sit in this environment. I would play games, I'd read books, I'd watch movies, and it's kind of like a home screen for my virtual experience. So I thought, okay, I'd put on some music, I'd see if you guys could hear the music, we could walk around the virtual environment, and then we'll come back and we'll finish up with the last little bit of the show with whatever you guys want to talk about, whether it's, whatever. Meh. First says meh. Okay, well then, get out of here. If it's not interesting, head on out. No problem. So I'm going to do that. Give me a second here. Now, we've never tried this before, so this is also potentially a step in another direction because I've never tried to stream from the headset to you guys before, and it could be a horrible failure. Like, actually, no real concept of whether this will work. So we'll see. Cryptocurrencies are nothing more but internet pyramid schemes, and deep down in your black little hearts, you know it's all true. Oh, okay, so First Stickin is not listening at all. He just wants your guys' attention. So if you want to have conversations with him, he's in chat. Please type to him. But he's not actually listening. He just saw a crowd gathered, and he just wants attention. So give me one sec here to see if I can wake my headset up. And then I'll put it on, and then I will switch my scene over to it. And I will make sure that everything's okay. Am I standing in the right place? Yes, pretty good. Okay, fair enough. Let's just give this a shot. So if you guys don't mind being guinea pigs while I do this, and I'm gonna put on some Das Mortal because I fucking love Das Mortal, and that's something that I'm gonna be planning to do. Is I'm gonna fly to Montreal to see him, and we'll go from there. We'll see how this works. Let's just take a boo. Also, nobody looks cool in VR. So if you guys are wondering what I look like in VR, it's like everybody else, a fucking retard. But you get used to it. You don't worry about it too much once you're going. So hang on one sec. Let me actually set up. Let me set this up and we'll go from there. Let's see. Let's do what's on Firefox and let's broadcast. Coolio. Okay, I think we're basically set. So, 1 second here. This is an exciting and probably painful thing for you guys to watch. If you're not watching the video, this is going to be absolutely not interesting to you, even a tiny bit. Oh, there's an ad. Guys, there's an ad on YouTube. We're going to have to deal with it. Apologies in advance. 1 sec. I have 5 seconds worth of ad to skip. Piece of trash. Okay. Skip ads. Let's figure our shit out. All right, my dudes. Let us try this. Let me see. There, check it out. Can you guys see? Interesting. All right, let's put on some music. I'm gonna walk you guys around my little digital sanctuary, which is a little bit cyberpunky. My name is Crimson Clad. This is Cyberbuzz. We listen to synthwave. We hang out. Hopefully, the volume on the music will be okay because I'm playing from the YouTube. It might be trash. We're gonna find out. It's all very, very exciting. Any dice? Can you hear it? Let's find out. No? Yes? Maybe? Let me know in Discord. Can you hear? Too bad. So it's a dead air. That sucks. Son of a bitch. You can hear my mic. Yeah, I know. I never turned my mic off, but no music. That's the other thing is I can't hear you guys pinging. Well, that sucks because this would have been way cooler if you could hear the track going. Well, all right. So there you go. Kind of failed experiment. Let's just see here. Hang on. Oh, you know what? That whole fucking thing was muted. Look it. You're going to hear an ad because that was muted. I didn't click on mute. What a loser. What a fucking loser. Okay, I'm not going to make you guys walk through the environment. The idea was you were supposed to hear the music while that was playing, but hey, we tried, right? We tried. Hang on. There, now it's going. I should have guessed. Hang on. You see? Crimson loser. Virtual reality blockchain. Seen it before, did not get impressed. No one cares. No one's trying to impress you for sticking. God, you're so desperate for attention. All right, so 3D worst DJ. Fair enough. I am terrible. So the idea was, let's just walk around 1 second. The idea was I was going to take you guys out there. Son of a bitch. Okay, there you go. The failure experiment is over. It didn't work very well, but listen, I thought it would be cool. I've never tried before. You guys are whatever. Do I hear talking? What's happening? Yeah, I thought I'd talk with you guys with it, but you know what? Failed experiment. Like I said, poor for sticking is bored, so we better stop. So yeah, long story short, see, that's amazing, Corbin. I'm going to send you Hive. You arted. It's beautiful. I love it. Look at his firebork. So listen, these are the sorts of things that I want to put out there. It would have been cool if there was music the first time around while I was leading you around the environment. But first times for everything. We're experimenting. Now, given that there's not that much time left in the show, And given that it's very hard for me to check my mixing while I'm in VR. That's the only thing too, is because I haven't set it up before. Having music playing, having OBS going, having this thing rendering an environment, having the music, not being able to see Discord. Yeah, you gotta deal with it. What's a VR program that you use to create that environment? Nothing special at all. That's built into the Oculus. So that's not even anything creative whatsoever. That's literally the home environment for the Rift. And you actually have one for the Quest as well. The Quest has one that looks a little different, but I'm in a similar sort of VR environment, a kind of cyberpunky sort of one. But so here's the thing. It's pretty cool. It's pretty interesting. You have a lot of control over it. You can build custom environments. Steam has a custom VR environment. In Steam VR, my home screen is Kaer Morhen, which is the castle from the Witcher series. Can you do Minecraft? You can play Minecraft in VR. And I actually have Skyrim for VR, and I'm not actually I haven't actually played it because I'm scared that if I go into Skyrim in VR, I will never come back. But so long story short is not actually trying to impress you guys, but talking a little bit about what you can do in this space and whether or not this is something that you could see being adopted, especially now, knowing that we fight centralized powers. That's what we like to think anyways. We are looking for entertainment, tools, gaming, things like that. You used to be an adventurer like me until you took an arrow to the knee. Listen, you just find yourself a companion who is sworn to carry your burdens and have them drag you along behind them. But so long story short, fighting centralized powers, which is why I kind of said it with an upward inflection as a question. Is this something that, because Facebook's gotten a hold of it, will it become more prevalent or will it become less prevalent? I don't know. I'm curious about this. But yeah, that's too bad. I wish I hadn't fucked that up so badly. I wish the music was playing the first time, because it would have been really cool to walk around the environment for the first time instead of just hearing me go, ha 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 ha, look at me. But again, it's nothing ventured, nothing game. I look stupid most days. So you just roll with it. Now, that being said, I have come to a close on the stuff that I wanted to bring up for talking today. So I'm curious to know if the new VR systems were only, $299, even cheaper, if they were that easy to get into, they could hook up to the games that you already had and your friends that you already have on, the random giggles are a bit avant-garde. Yeah, that's right. Well, for me, there's certain things in that environment that I really enjoy. Like, I laughed going up to the bookcase because there's a couple of lightsabers on the bookcase, and it's the first thing that I did in VR was wave around fucking lightsabers like a retard, and it brings me great joy. Or same thing, I would love to have a tank full of glowing neon jellyfish, but it's really hard to keep jellyfish alive. They always get sucked into your filters. They're really stupid. Creating an aquarium for them is really problematic. You need to provide water motion because they don't really float around on their own very well. Lots of stuff. So listen, accept it. I'm not a great DJ. But yeah, so that's the idea, making stuff. I mean, I could unplug this now. I could take you into some games from that environment, but what a lot of people do now is they have actual meetings. So I could be live streaming my point of view to people and there's actually quite a few crypto meetings like this, things like panels, things like talks, and of course, things like crypto voxels, where everybody is walking around an environment experiencing the same art, the same whatever the case may be. I mean, Crypto Voxels, I think, was just supposed to be a meeting place, but it's really become a place for people to showcase art inside a VR environment. Whatever. There are tons and tons and tons of possibilities. And the argument is, will we get, but why though? Yeah, I guess that's a good point too, Inertia. But why? And yes, you could be one of these creepy little presence robots for sure. I guess what it comes down to is, do we think we're going to be more open to these experiences in our lives if Facebook puts out the money and the time and the effort to make it happen? Also, I'm not sure why First Dickon is so like at me today, but I don't know. He used to think I was entertaining. He used to want to pay me to talk on TeamSpeak. And I thought that'd be cool. So that's too bad. I'm guessing he wants to talk too. But he could come. He could do that. Now, listen, we're coming up to the end of the show. We've only got like 10 minutes left. 10 minutes left. After this, we will be doing an MSP Wave sort of get-together gathering. We're going to talk a little bit about... ways that we can make the station better. Maybe it is. And maybe we host VR meetups. I don't know. Whatever you guys want to see. And if you have any other questions or comments about Hive, now is the time, my friend. Now is the time. Now is the winter of our discount tent if you're solo. I will say, one of the things that is so strange right now, is the idea of virtual meetups. And whether they're VR or not is neither here nor there. But I thought maybe... check this out. If you want to see something, I saw this earlier. If you want to see something awkward, here is virtual meetups gone wrong. What do you think about this? And this to me, well, I learned 3 things when I saw this earlier this week. 1, Kelly Clarkson is still alive. 2, Kelly Clarkson has a show. 3, Vin Diesel makes music? Question mark? But one thing that I find so strange about this and awkward is they're socially distanced, even though they are video called into the show. And so these chairs with video calls are question mark are actually socially distanced. And I cannot wrap my head around this. Everything about this is so confusing to me. I don't understand. Yeah, making stuff. And this is a great argument. And I know a lot of people feel that this is it. Is you're going to strap one of these to your face and you're never going to come back. And I mean, yes and no. And your show is a great example of this. It is really tricky to want to have... Yeah, I want the old normal back. I do not consent to 2020. Oh my gosh, this new girl, that is fabulous. I want it. Give it to me. Oh, I can't wait. I'm going to send some money. I'm going to send some money to Corbin for sure. I'm going to send some money to Mariano, and I'm going to send some money to this new girl, probably to Tracy. This is exciting. So here's the deal. You can do both. And I think, the before times, before 2020, just the before times. I think if you said the before times, people would know what you were talking about. You can do both. It's much like two things can be true. You can be left-leaning and like guns. You can think that both political parties on the spectrum are terrible and forge your own path. You can like some things and other things. And so I do believe that there is space in our lives for disruptive technology, and that because of that, being in tune with nature is more important than ever. And that's fine. So when Marky says when he was a kid, he walked uphill with a mask in the snow 6 feet away from everyone. But one of the things that I think is going to become so important is we can embrace this technology. You can invite dumb, pointless, awesome technology into your life. You can invite useful, meaningful technology into your life. And that doesn't mean that you're going to lose a connection with your community, with your society, with nature itself. But I do think that you're absolutely right in that this is a struggle that we're going to see. And Kitty Girl kind of touched on that, is if I have this, will I be able to get back out? Do I have enough time? Do I have enough space? Do I have the need? Like, can I invite this into my life and not have it take over? And, we've seen, whether it's blockchain, whether it's Second Life, whether it's Dungeons and Dragons on an old tabletop format, anything can take over your life if you're not careful. And so I don't want to put it out there that I love VR and I can't wait to upload my consciousness to the cloud and I'm never fucking coming back. Screw you. Because I am someone who immensely loves nature. Climbing mountains is what I do. But at the same time, I'm not going to shun technology either. And so it's a weird space to be in. So I'm curious, but I thought we'd bring it up today. I thought we'd have a little bit of fun. Thanks for putting up with the fact that I totally destroyed it and fucked it up. But like the idea was there, right? The idea was there. We can have some more ideas on things to incorporate into the show later on. But yeah, I'm sorry. It was bad. It was bad. I should feel bad. Listen. So coming towards the end of the show, do you guys, given that I didn't play you that whole track after all that, shun, can you be woke and unwoke? I mean, I guess so, because I think on some things I probably have what would be considered like a woke perspective. But I think on a lot of things, people would be like, fuck you, you're such a stodgy, unwoke person. And I accept that. I accept that there are degrees of wokeness and listen, just be yourself. Do the best you can. We talked about this last week. Oh, no, I guess we didn't. But we have talked about this in that, do people normally put plants on their couches? Well, you see, Marky, A, that's a new plant. Thank you for noticing. B, people put plants on their couches who know damn well, if the autofocus will pick it up, which it won't. Fuck you. Autofocus. No, you can't. Anyway, see how this is white at the top? It's because it's a throw plant. Yeah, you just, whatever you need to zhuzh things up a little. People who know damn well they should put a anchor in their ceiling, but are rushing to get their show done, who take a chance just to see if maybe they put this in the drywall and the plant isn't too heavy, knowing full well that it is too heavy. Those are people who put the plant on the couch after they try to fucking hang it from the ceiling, knowing full well that they're not doing it right. Don't judge me. Don't judge me. So yeah, I did. I wanted to hang up my new plant to impress all you guys with how well I'm taking care of my studio. I ran out of time. I knew full well I should have put a toggle bolt in, but I thought, let's just try it in the drywall. And I hung it up and it immediately came down. So I put the plant on the couch and then I did the show. I didn't skip the show because I dropped a plant. Okay? So now that you've all judged judgingly, now that I've, there's me sliming along a couch in the background. Listen, nothing is good enough for you people. What do you want from me? God. Look at how nice this setup is, you bastards. I'm still proud you tried. I'm actually very good at home reno stuff. I knew better. Digging deeper, loving the memes. Did you know I'm having a meme contest on Monday? No. Drop a post in here. Share it, Digging Deeper. Get that shit in here. Put your contest in here. Look at all these people who would love to do it. Now, I was thinking we'll sneak in one more track. We're going to come back. I'll say goodbye at the end of the show. Do you have questions on the card fork? Is there anything that you have a question about around Hive? Probably not. You're all fucking smart cookies. So we will be planning another newbie night in the future. We're going to advertise it through a couple different places because one of the things that we've learned is if you don't tell people about newbie night, they won't come to newbie night. So we're going to do that. And then after my show, stick around if you're willing because we are going to have a nice quick town hall meeting, depending on what the feedback is. We want to talk a little bit about how to make MSP waves better for everyone, for you and all. That is a terribly ugly wolf. Let me find you guys some more music. I did want to play that fucking Killin' Time track, but that's okay. Don't worry about it. I'm a disaster. Let's see. What do we got? What have I not played for you guys in a while? Let's go back and do... I'm going to play you guys some Muscle. I'm going to play you some Muscle off an album called The Pump. I'm going to play you a track called Feel the Steel. I'll be back to say goodbye, and then we will be doing the MSP Waves Town Hall if you're willing to stay. My name is Crimson Clad. This is Cyberbuzz. I'm a bad DJ. I experimented with some augmented AR, VR bullshit today and failed, and you were here to witness it. Think of that. All of the places in the universe you could be, and you were here witnessing me flounder awkwardly and quietly on air for your pleasure, your entertainment. You know, it doesn't matter. It's fine. right. A good time was had by all today, and if you didn't have a good time, shut it. I don't want your feedback. Yeah. Good times, good times. Thanks for coming to hang out, guys. Thanks for welcoming me back on air. I'm sorry the last couple weeks have been such a shit show. Nothing new there, and I am working on branching out, making sure the show is entertaining, and of course, bringing a little bit more value back to things. So, what else is coming up? Check the full schedule at mspwaves.com. And in the coming weeks, I'm going to be doing a Twitch and YouTube subscription drive, which is trash. But if you want to help out, you know, yeah, come give us feedback at the town hall, but also shut up. The town hall is in 5 minutes. I have you for those 5 minutes. And for the 5 minutes that I have you, zip it. Now, with all that being said, I'll be here next week. I am back to a roughly regular sort of schedule. And of course, every weekend, I would love very, very much if you want to come hang out. Please send me stuff you want to talk about on the air, on the show. Sometimes it's Hive, sometimes it's technology, sometimes it's whatever. But I am here for you. So please Let me know what is on your mind, what you want to talk about, and I will keep asking questions that will hopefully not lead to me horrifically embarrassing myself quietly and awkwardly on air, as per usual. And we'll go from there. Now, checking on how much time I have left before I get forcibly removed, which is always an important, an important thing to know. The hard fork date has been set. If somehow you've been living under a rock and you want to know what's happening with Hive, please check on the main Hive.io account. But we're going to be doing the thing at 10 a.m. Eastern time, whatever that is, UTC. I don't fucking know. I don't care. 1400 UTC on October 6th. What will happen? What will you see? In theory, if everything goes well, absolutely nothing. You'll never notice it. You'll never notice it. Everything will just badoop over, and the blockchain shall continue as it has been and as it shall be moving forwards. Some of the big changes, if you need a TLDR, one of the big ones, Chain ID is changing. All of the libraries have changed to support the Chain ID. There will be airdrop corrections given out, 30-day delay on newly powered up stake for sort of like governance voting. And then quite a large chunk of operations are moving out of the main Hive-D software and are moving into HiveMind, which is sort of the second layer, consensus interpretation layer. It holds a lot of the social features, and it is being made much, much better, much faster, so that more dApps can come to our ecosystem. People can spin up nodes faster, more cheaply, and everything that we talked about at the start of the show today, which would be welcoming in new use cases, new projects, making it easier for someone with a dream on development or a great idea for a project, coming on in, has the ability to build it using our resources. And you, as an end user with your awesome human readable wallet address, can take part in the Internet of Hive. Forget the Internet of Things. Forget interconnected mesh networks that Amazon is building. We're talking about Hive and all the cool things you can do with it. So check out Rabona, which is a new game. We have so many on the blockchain already. We have more and more services up and coming. Keep an eye out. Support the projects that you love. And keep your fingers crossed for the hard fork. I think everything will go A-okay, but of course that is my innate desire. So if wanting is enough to get it done, then it's going to happen. All right. With that being said, we're down to the last minute and a half. If you're willing to stick around, please hop into general chat after the show. Everybody is welcome to talk. And you do know that if you want to come on the air, if you want to talk with me, you're always allowed to. Shoot me a DM if you have an idea for a show. If there's something that you want to pimp, maybe your own project, your own game, come on over, shoot me a DM. You can come on air. We can make a whole show about it. And if you have thoughts for MSP Waves as a station for us to improve and want to help us grow, if you want to help us bring more people into the fold, if you want to become a DJ, if you just want to eavesdrop, then please stick around here. My name is Crimson Clad. I am a moderator here in the pond. I am one of your consensus witnesses, still by the skin of my teeth, on the Hive blockchain. I'm a crazy lady who loves disruptive technology and the blockchain and synthwave a whole lot. And I'm available to you to entertain you a couple times a week, only here on MSP Waves. Bye! I'm ending a little early because I dropped some frames, so then there'll be more awkward silence. Can't wait. Ah.